Geography Week 23. We're in Central Asia, and we will be looking at Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan.
So left of Mongolia, we have Kazakhstan, and I kind of think of that as the Kazakhstan Express, like a choo-choo train. And below that, we have the Aral Sea. That can make kind of a U, kind of makes a U, and we can use that to remind of us.
Uzbekistan.
And under that, we have Turkmenistan. It has that turkey beak right there.
So Turkmenistan.
And then over here we have Tajikistan. It looks like a bunny rabbit.
Yep, looks like a bunny.
Cheek, it has the Tajikistan.
Tajikistan.
And over here we have Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, it looks like a lobster's claw. So that's under Kazakhstan. And that's called again?
Kazakhstan.
So for timeline, we're going to do the age of information. So we'll grab our beard, and then we'll type on the computer, and then we'll have a global so we can see our globalization. And circa 1970 to the present. And then we'll do Watergate, President Nixon. He resigns. He's not a crook. Then we're going to do the fall of communism in Eastern Europe. Then we'll have the European Union form, like we're forming a snowball. And then we're going to apartheid. We're going to use the sign for apartheid. And then abolish, we're going to throw it away in South Africa, the sign for South Africa. Then we're going to do 2000 AD, 2000 AD, then put our hands up for the Twin Towers, September 11th, 2001. Then we're going to have rising tide of freedom, the opposite of slavery, rising tide of freedom. So let's start with U.S. astronauts walk on the moon. U.S. astronauts walk on the moon, age of information and globalization, circa 1970 to the present. Watergate, President Nixon resigned. I am not a crook. The fall of communism in Eastern Europe. European Union formed. Apartheid abolished in South Africa. 2000 AD, 2000 AD. September 11th, 2001, rising tide of freedom, rising tide of freedom.
Timeline, timeline, this is my timeline.
This week's history, tell me about the Gulf War. There he is, 4. All right, so we're going to do 1990. So we'll do, there's our 19 and then 90. We're going to pull back. President, the sign for president, our big hat, George H.W. Bush. We'll make a B for Bush. Sent troops, the sign for troops is our rifle on our shoulder there. To the Persian, we'll make a P, Persian, and then we'll swing Gulf War. To expel, we'll make a big X. Expel, I, we'll make an I for Iraqi leader. Saddam Hussein has 2 big fingers on your nose for a mustache. So Saddam Hussein. From Kuwait, we'll make a K during, again, our Gulf swing, the Gulf War. So here we go. Tell me about the Gulf War. In 1990, President George H.W. Bush sent troops to the Persian Gulf to expel Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein from Kuwait during the Gulf War. 4. So week 23 math is the distributive law. So distributive law, we're going to distribute. So show us how to distribute. Distributive law states A, we'll make it a, and then opening parentheses, and then make the sign for B. That's a B. And then the plus sign, plus C. And then we're going to close our parentheses, make the equal sign, A, then B, plus A, C. So let's do it again. Tell me what is the distributive law?
The distributive law states A, opening parentheses, B plus C, closing parentheses, equals AB plus AC.
So Latin, we're going to have a familiar song that we've done back in weeks, 11 and 12. We're going to do again, first conjugation, future perfect tense, and we're going to remember on a future perfect birthday, I will shoot my arrow. And it's the birthday song. Aero, eris, erit. Aramis, eritus, errant. First conjugation, future perfect tense. For English, we're going to do an adjective, and we're going to use the Addams Family song, if you're familiar with it. So we'll start out with an adjective. So we'll make an A for adjective. An adjective modifies an N, a noun, or a P for pronoun by describing. So he's going to start describing it. He's going to have qualify, click with a stopwatch, or limiting, and then he's going to answer, ding, the questions: what kind, how many, which, and whose. An adjective modifies a noun or pronoun by describing, qualifying, or limiting, and answers the questions:
What kind?
How many, which, whose. One more time. An adjective modifies a noun or pronoun by describing, qualifying, or limiting, and answers the questions: what kind, how many, which, whose. Finally, for science, how does heat flow? And if you ever watch those old Christmas specials with the heat miser, that's what he's going to inspire. So how does heat flow? So we'll make two R's with our fingers and do radiation, and make them twingle, those fingers. Conduction will act like a conductor, choo choo, and convection. This is how heat flows. This is how heat flows. How does heat flow? By radiation and conduction and convection. This is how heat flows by radiation, conduction, and convection. This is how heat flows. This is how heat flows. How does heat flow? By radiation and conduction and convection. This is how heat flows by radiation, conduction, and convection. This is how heat flows. This is how heat flows. He's too much. Ba-dum-bum-bum.
What kind of noise does a witch's vehicle make?
I don't know. What kind of noise does a witch's vehicle make?
Brown, brown, brown.